YouTube Ozzico in the Goat House is back. We got an updated NFL mock draft. 2 rounds, pre-combine mock draft. Combine is obviously next week, and we'll have a post-combine mock draft. Also with stock reports throughout the combine as well. So really exciting time of the year. NFL offseason, we have you covered fully. We cover you with free agency, trades, and the NFL draft. So join us, like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Yeah, I've kind of got through a portion of the film watching process, so always a great time of the year. Prospects are shooting up the mocks, the boards for me. Still a long way to go here. So a lot of movement in this one. Really excited. Follow our Twitter. Constant updates, breaking news, predictions, rumors, more. Always talking with you guys. Important links you'll find pinned in the comments section there. So check it out. Must follow that Twitter. It'll also be much appreciated. So the first 8 picks. Again, we're going through 2 rounds here. Evan Neal, I'm going to put at number 1 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's kind of been back and forth between him and Nkobe from NC State. Both very solid tackles. In contention for, right now, Evan Neal's at the top for me. I still got a lot of watching to do. I didn't catch every position group still, but Evan Neal got a boost for me. Not really a boost because he's already in contention for number 1 overall player, but a guy we're going to talk about, Travon Walker, who I really, really like. And he got a big boost for me when I watched him go against Evan Neal. It helped Evan Neal's stock because he did a fantastic job on him. So Jaguars looking for that left tackle. Franchise tag window is now open. Why does that matter here? Is because the Jaguars could potentially tag or not tag Cam Robinson. I don't think they're going to do it. We had a franchise tag predictions video with the numbers involved. We'll see if they re-sign him. Even if they do, though, could they draft another tackle? Is Juwan Taylor not the guy on the other side? But still going with Evan Neal, at number 1. Most definitely worthy of the number 1 pick. Number 2, Aidan Hutchison, edge rusher from Michigan. A lot of edge rushers got the boost, from me after watching some film. Corners, too, and that's kind of rare for me. I really like the corners in this class. But, yeah, watching the edge rushers, Hutchinson's fantastic, but I think it's a little closer than what people are what the media is kind of saying here. I don't think Hutchinson's kind of clearing away better than, this guy, that guy, and this guy here. But I do like the fit with the Lions. I do think they will like him a lot. He played better this year when we saw him get more reps standing up rather than hand in the dirt, but he did a little bit of both. Before this year, it was pretty much just hand in the dirt. He's kind of built like that type of player, but I thought better standing up. I think that fits the Lions pass rush group as well, their defense. So probably be the route they go. I keep seeing kind of quotes from within the league. And they keep talking about how that Hutchinson's a dude. This guy's a dude. That just sounds like Dan Campbell there. I'm not really predicting it's him. It sounds like a Dan Campbell type of guy here. So going that route still. Kyle Hamilton for the Texans. Tempting to go edge rush. A lot of guys even in grade here. Kyle Hamilton, a rare safety prospect. Can fit Lovie Smith's Tampa 2 just fine. You got to get a little more creative with him, though. Again, just such a rare safety prospect where it's like, realistically, I think we all could see Kyle Hamilton being maybe the best safety in football in the near future. So can you pass on a guy like that? Definitely in contention for my top player in the draft. And then, like we said, with the same goes for some of these tackles, even down to Charles Cross. One of the best players in this class. But Jets go with Nkobe. I heard they really like Fant. They want to pair Fant for now with Mekhi Becton. But that's kind of just for now because they don't know how the draft's going to shake out. And, could they get better? Also, they could get better by putting Nkobe at guard, which he can be one of the best guards in the NFL if that's the case. Pairing him with Elijah Vera Tucker. So you can't go wrong either way. Maybe just too good to pass because he's definitely, he could be, it wouldn't surprise me if this happened and the Jets, he ended up being the Jets' number 1 player on their board. It's very realistic. Giants go Charles Cross. In a normal tackle class, I don't know if this tackle, the draft class, I don't think it's any better than a normal class because I don't think it has the greatest depth. But at the top, I think it's better than normal. Charles Cross, could be the best tackle or second best in some other classes. He's very talented. He can handle speed rushers as well, which are taking over today's NFL. Giants could definitely use that. Pair him with Andrew Thomas. Love that. Kenny Pickett, 6. Yeah, we kind of hear that from takes within the league that Kenny Pickett's still likely to be the first quarterback taken. I could see it. I think it's maybe more of the safer quarterback prospect, maybe the smarter of the group. I look at a game like the Clemson game, a little bit more of a challenge for Pittsburgh's offense because even though Clemson was a little underwhelming this year, still very solid defense. So a little more of a challenge. And they come out, and Pittsburgh can't do much. Clemson's getting good pressure. They're very tight in coverage. Pickett's getting the ball out quick, can't really complete much. They can't really do much. That goes for a few series, maybe a little more than the few. Clemson's up 7-0, and Pickett adjusts. He adjusts, and he starts making some really good timing throws and good job kind of scanning the field and finding the open guy real quick. So that's kind of a good tape to understand this guy could adjust. This guy's a smart quarterback. I guess the problem with him is, where's his ceiling at? Does he have the highest ceiling? And maybe not really. I think you know what you're going to get from him, but I think likely still the first quarterback take, and I guess it depends on the team, but the Panthers go that route. And Trayvon Walker, if you follow us on Twitter, I was hyping him up like a week ago. I'm saying because I was watching him just then, and based on what I was seeing, I'm like, this guy's got so much upside. He's so good already at the same time. It feels like a top 10 pick to me, and I think other people are starting to kind of push him up into the top 10 as well. Just all about upside with him. I mean, if you're going to go off production, you can't go off production with him because he played inside. He dropped in coverage a lot. It really limited his production. I keep saying if he had as many pass rush snaps as Aidan Hutchison, I think he'd be viewed as better. I really do. I think he'd have more production as well. He's just extremely talented, extremely lengthy, athletic for his size, extremely powerful, already polished in the run game. I guess the question here with the Giants, because they're more of a 3-4 base, I think perfect situation. Maybe Walker as a 4-3 end, but I think he fits either because he has the experience standing up, a little more hand in the dirt, but has the experience standing up, has the experience dropping in coverage, which Martindale, new Giants defensive coordinator, is going to love from Walker. And on obvious passing downs, you can actually put him at 3-4 end, maybe move Leonard Williams to D-tackle. That's because that's what teams tend to do these days, is kind of slide guys around a little bit on the obvious passing downs, and then Dexter Lawrence at nose tackle. That's just an obvious passing down. It's a beautiful situation that they have there. So I think they can use Walker in several different ways. He's got so much upside. He just really feels like a top 10 player because you have to factor in upside as well. Falcons go Ahmad Gardner. Yeah, I got the chance to watch some Ahmad Gardner. Besides watch a lot of live football as well, but recently I got the chance to watch him. So damn good in coverage. I mean, elite in coverage, I'd say, as a cornerback prospect. Familiar with zone and man. Love that. Ability to run with the guy in man. Instincts, be able to make a play on the ball. Quick feet. He's just so good in coverage. And these types of guys go pretty early. I guess I do worry about. I haven't really seen too many people talk about it, but I do worry a little bit about the tackling. Didn't really pop up a whole lot. Cincinnati had a pretty good defense. It never really came down to him making a tackle, but there are times where he kind of just runs in there, with his arms out wide and kind of whiffs on a tackle. Doesn't really get low. He does have kind of that thin frame. He wants to tackle, maybe not properly though. So I do worry about that. So that's why it's a little tricky because there's going to be teams that are like, everyone's going to love his coverage ability, but there's going to be teams that, a little bit of liability in terms of tackling. I don't really want that, so they may pass, but he's so good in coverage. I think the Falcons could be looking at putting together an elite cornerback duo here with Terrell and Gardner. So just because, again, and I'm not saying elite NFL coverage, I'm talking about as a prospect, elite. Teams are going to want that, so I put him up there at 8 for right now. So Kayvon Thibodeaux slipped through. I think Trayvon Walker getting kind of pushed up, and then just the pass rush group is so damn good. It's insane. It's so deep. Teams maybe want to wait. Maybe the corner's getting pushed up. But Kayvon Thibodeaux, I guess the problem with him is, there's times where he disappears a little bit. He has those big-time flashy moments. What I love about him, he shows up in the biggest moments when they need it. When Oregon needs a sack, he gets after the quarterback. He makes a play. Maybe creates a turnover. I do like that he can drop in coverage a little bit. I do like that you kind of get the feeling he fits 4-3 or 3-4. I do think there'll probably be some teams that would want him to put on more strength, more size. And he does look like a strong guy, but I don't know if he plays to that. They want more size for him to play 4-3 end because that's kind of a problem as well. Sometimes when a solid tackle is on him and they got him locked up in a good block, he really struggles to get off it sometimes. So maybe he drops a little bit. He's so flashy, though. Again, he could drop in coverage. Shows up in the big moments. I don't think he gets by the Broncos. I do really like Jermaine Johnson, though. Jermaine Johnson could sneak up here. I almost feel like Jermaine Johnson, top 10 player, but in this scenario, realistic, he slips through. We'll talk about him. Trent McDuffie, again, I'm boosting up these corners. These corners look pretty damn good. Jets could use a corner. What I like about McDuffie, well, I like that he's very solid in zone, in man. I really like that he can tackle. He wants to tackle. He flies to the ball. I love that. But my favorite thing is he's instinctive. You know, you could catch him kind of playing the receiver at the same time. He's kind of reading the quarterback, reading the ball, ability to jump up, make a play. I love that. You know, I don't know if you can really coach those things. Getting off blocks sometimes is a little bit maybe the only issue with him. I don't really view undersized for him as I don't think he's that undersized for a corner. I think just getting off blocks is really the only thing. So the Jets could use a corner like that to be able to mix up the coverages, of course. So he goes 10. Malik Willis goes 11. Obviously, he's on the rise after his Senior Bowl. You see the athletic ability. You see the arm strength is ridiculous. We got to have him learn a little bit, understand coverages, calm down a little bit on the throws. But I think Washington will be willing to work with that. You know, I think his running ability would kind of fit with their running mentality, and you know they get creative with Antonio Gibson, Curtis Samuel, the guys like that, the unique players that they have. So I think it made sense. Vikings go Garrett Wilson, who I'm looking at as a top receiver in the class because he can play inside and out. He's extremely athletic. He's extremely good after the catch. Love the footwork, too. He gets open, gets separation. I think perfect for what Kevin O'Connell's trying to do there with the Vikings. A lot more 11 personnel, a lot more receivers on the field than what the Vikings have been doing for some time. So pair him with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, which would be pretty important to have a kind of a three-headed monster in there. That's that type of offense that O'Connell wants to run there, so that made sense to me. Be a pretty deadly receiver group. Devin Lloyd, who I like a lot. I think this is a potential elite grade for me. We're still in that process, but really like Devin Lloyd. I think he should go earlier in this. I mean, long, athletic, physical. I'm trying to find a negative from Devin Lloyd. That's why I like him so much, and he's flashy too. It's not like he's balanced, you know, a safe pick. It's not really that, you know. He does a bit of everything. Can play inside linebacker, can blitz. You can put him off the edge if you want to. You can drop him in coverage, zone or man. He gets his hands on the ball. He's got the size. I'm really trying to figure out a sound tackler. I'm trying to figure out what we're missing from Devin Lloyd here because I'm not seeing anything here. So I really like Devin Lloyd. He should go earlier in this. The Browns, I mean, you know, I think I'm curious to see how the Browns approach this offseason in general because, yeah, they got to get that offense back on track. They got to get back on track in general. That defense is very, very close. You got to do it right, though, but to be heading towards maybe the best elite defense in football because you definitely have the secondary. You have Myles Garrett. You have the pass rush there. You added Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah last year at the linebacker position, more of an outside guy. You got some young studs in there. I think if you add in the interior here with inside linebacker, you get a creative one with Devin Lloyd, and you add a defensive tackle, I think this could be an elite defense. So do they approach that? Do we want the best defense in football, or do they – because it's hard on offense, you know, because they really only need Baker to step up, and they need receivers. So it's not like they need a lot there. But so curious to see how the Browns approach things. I would love Devin Lloyd for them. I'd love Devin Lloyd for pretty much anybody. Ravens, Jermaine Johnson slipped through a little bit. To me, this may sound bold, but a lot of people have Aidan Hutchison and then maybe Thibodeaux, and then there's a drop-off. And even if people like Jermaine Johnson and maybe Trayvon Walker, whoever it may be, even if they like him, they got a big gap between these guys. I do not. I am not set on Hutchison number one. I'm not set on Thibodeaux number one, number two. Trayvon Walker and Jermaine Johnson are in full contention for, yes, I'm going to say it, the number one edge rush spot. So really like Johnson. I think he fits either scheme. He wins with athleticism. He wins with his length. He wins with a bull rush. He wins with a spin move. I mean, he could do a bit of everything there. So I don't know what else you're looking for in terms of the pass rusher. He showed out the Senior Bowl. I think the only knock people have on him is he didn't work out at Georgia. You know, kind of going back and looking, though, I thought his tape looked pretty good at Georgia. I guess they were just so stacked on defense. But Ravens go that route. They really stack up the young pass rush group then. And they're looking for more of, because they move on from Martindale, so they're looking for more of pass rushers that just straight up going to get after the quarterback rather than, and they got those guys, they have some guys that have the potential in that category, but they kind of were looking for unique type pass rushers, guys that have the ability to drop in coverage. Just go get the guys and get straight up get that with the quarterback, and that's what they do here. Eagles, Derek Stingley Jr., who's still in contention for a top-tier cornerback in his class. Maybe people will get on him because he took a step down recently. He had some injuries, but I don't think talent disappears. I think he's a very solid man corner, also in zone. He wants to tackle. He can tackle. He's got the traits. You look at the size, the athleticism. I would like him a lot for the Eagles. Nkobe Dean, who's fantastic, just a little bit undersized. I think that's the only thing different between Devin, Lloyd, and Nkobe Dean is Lloyd's big, he's lengthy. Lloyd that is, and then Dean is a little bit undersized. Doesn't really play like it though. Dean maybe more of the blitzer. Lloyd you kind of use outside here and there a little bit when he rushes. Those are really the only differences. Dean flies around the field. He's good in coverage. He can blitz. He's very good at tackling. So I like him for the Eagles. They can upgrade their linebacker group for sure. Next group's Kyler Gordon, boosting him up. These Washington corners are pretty damn good. Different, though, in a way. The only similarity with McDuffie and Gordon is they played at Washington, and not just that, but they ran the same coverages there. And I think they both are very good in coverage. They're both very good against the pass. They both can make the play on the ball. They both fly around the field too. They both attack the ball pretty well, even if it's a pass or a run. They both do that. Those are the similarities. Differences is size. I guess just profile, like an athletic profile, size. Profile. McDuffie's a lot better tackler too, so that's why Gordon's down here. But Gordon is extremely lengthy and extremely athletic. He's very good at making a play on the ball. He's pretty. It's interesting too because he's pretty instinctive in the run game where he'll read run and he'll fly at the ball and he'll make kind of a flashy tackle. But then it's kind of his negative at the same time is he'll kind of whiff on some tackles. Seems like the lengthier guys have that issue. So maybe the mid-first round, Ahmad Gardner. Pretty damn similar actually. I think Ahmad Gardner's going to be better in coverage, maybe a little better footwork, maybe a little more instincts in the passing game. I would trust Gordon a little bit more tackling. Definitely, I trust him tackling, but they still have that issue. So, that's we could say Gordon maybe has the most upside of the corners in the group. So I like him a lot. I like that he can fit zone, man. He can play either. I think the Chargers will like that. They got a good young group there coming along. Kind of hoping they focus on. I don't want them to pay big in free agency at corner, like crazy money. I want them to pay crazy money, boosting the defensive line, the linebackers. Maybe right tackle, maybe receiver. So, but mainly the run stopping guys. That's where I want them to pay. Saints could go quarterback. They could bring Jameis Winston back. I'm kind of back and forth on that. I would like Chris Olave for them. I'm starting to think I was watching the receivers. I watched both Ohio State receivers first, actually. You just know what you're going to get from those guys. And that's a beautiful thing at the receiver position. The receivers that are misses, that end up being, I guess if you want to call them busts, they're a little bit of a mystery. You don't know what you're really going to get. Can they get open? Can they get open? That's kind of really it. A guy like Chris Olave, you can put him on the outside. He can get open. He can hit that home run ball. He's pretty solid after the catch. I think Wilson's a little more flashy, but both kind of flashy. I think the Saints would like him outside, and that also can sometimes play inside. Michael Thomas, a guy that can do both, but he's really strong inside. I think that's a really good pairing there. Pretty interchangeable, so I would really like that, and that's what they need as well. I think a lot, kind of in this scenario, I'm kind of thinking Winston. Maybe they find a way to get him back cheap. I think Olave can play Winston ball. I really like that. So Eagles got to go Tyler Linderbaum, interior offensive lineman from Iowa. I talk about it every time. How high do you take a center? Our team's going to be confident with maybe him taking, because I don't really want to take a center that high, but he's very good. But how confident are teams about him playing guard? Because I'd take a guard that high. Earlier in this really is. I'm not really considering this high, but so the Eagles bring in Dickerson to potentially be the Kelsey replacement at center. It looks like they like Dickerson at guard as well. Kelsey going to run it back one more time. It sounds like one more year. So you bring in Linderbaum. Brandon Brooks retired as well. Bring in Linderbaum. I think you put him at center, Dickerson at guard, but they're pretty damn interchangeable where it works out. The Eagles it's very, very important to them to keep their offensive line, would not miss a step here. Keep that offensive line at the top. So they get the value here. Sam Howell, who I'm thinking at this time, this is the reason I don't do rankings right now. There's still a process. I don't want, because nothing's going to be final if I did him right now. But right now, I actually like Howell at the top for me. I think he's got a lot of upside. He's got a good feeling about him. I like his arm talent. He can make all the throws. He's got the athletic ability. He can fight off sacks. He can fight off defenders. I see a lot of there's good room for improvement where I think he can improve in those. There's some areas where quarterbacks can't really. It's tough for them to improve in those areas. I think Howell with an NFL offense, with an NFL offensive line, I think he can work wonders. So I would really like him for the Steelers there. He falls right in their lap. In this scenario, I kind of have the quarterbacks dropping a little bit because we know it's not the best quarterback. I think some people get a little carried away where the quarterback class is terrible. It's awful. It's not that good, but some people get a little carried away. But then I start to watch film on some of these other guys like I'm talking about, like I'm ranting about, and I see how good of players they are, and I'm kind of just take the best player available type guy. So those guys get pushed up. Quarterbacks fall down a little bit. Patriots go Trevor Penning, who potentially can go earlier in this, had a really good showing in the Senior Bowl, nasty blocker. Maybe it's a little bold. You don't really see people putting tackles to the Patriots, but Trent Brown's a free agent, has injury concern, and then Isaiah Wynn's got one more year left. He's a solid tackle. Maybe I'm kind of by myself with this. I don't see anything more than that. I don't know. And he could be their left tackle for the future if they want to re-sign him, but I think they would like Penning. I think this could be an upgrade potentially, or whether he's a Trent Brown replacement or not too. I think it's a possibility there. Raiders, they bring in Patrick Graham. Very solid, in my opinion, defensive coordinator. They need interior defensive line. They're going to play a three-man front. They need a three-man front. They need it pretty badly right now. Luckily, you can get some good ones. I really think they'll like Jordan Davis. Either Georgia D tackle, I think they would like. And coincidence, I have them going to back-to-back here. But I think Graham would really like Jordan Davis, kind of his Dexter Lawrence type of player here. They would be huge for the Raiders. So they get the big man nose tackle that also can play D tackle from Georgia. Devontae Wyatt's the same thing. Maybe a little more. Maybe most of the reps was Davis at nose and Wyatt at D tackle, but they mixed it up quite a bit. Wyatt's going to be a little quicker with his feet. He kind of can beat guys side to side with some lateral movement there. Cardinals need help stopping the run. J.J. Watt's 3-4-N. He needs help up there, so you get it with Devontae Wyatt here. Zion Johnson for the Cowboys, they need some help getting that offensive line back together. Zion Johnson, who's a guard that can also play, we think can play center or tackle, but I really like him at guard, but that's very good that he has the kind of that versatility for the Cowboys in case somebody goes down. But I like him as a day one starting guard. He put on a clinic at the Senior Bowl there, so the Cowboys go that route. Last 8 picks of the first round, then we get in the second round. Andrew Booth got again, like I talked about, I watched the top corners in this class. I don't think we're talking about Andrew Booth enough. He's a very talented playmaker, very instinctive in coverage. He's very athletic. He's not the tallest guy, but he's pretty damn lengthy too. So I really like him. I mean, he had a fantastic year playing the ball this year, so I like him for the Bills. I thought he was pretty good at a mixture of coverages, but I really like him and, maybe some cover two, maybe two-man under, which the Bills do. They run split safeties. I really like that fit there, and he'd be a big-time playmaker for them, pairing him with Tre'Davious White. So I would really like that, really like that pick for the Bills. Jameson Williams could be the top receiver in his class. He's probably right there with Garrett Wilson. He drops a little bit because of the injuries, but honestly, ACL injuries aren't that much of a concern anymore. They're concerning, but it's different these days. Players are coming back from. I've even heard players talk about, not too many of them right now, but players come out and say they might, once they got used to it after, they come back from the knee procedure, they actually feel a little bit better, which sounds crazy. I never had a knee injury like that, but it sounds crazy, but I've heard that. So Jameson Williams maybe doesn't drop as far as we think, and then the Titans would take a shot on him. He has crazy speed, route running ability. Treylon Burks, who's very fun to watch, he could drop a little bit too because he's a big slot, a big slot receiver. You like to think he has the ability to play outside. He didn't run the most unique routes. It was pretty much a slant, screen, go, post maybe, nothing unique. So team's a little cautious about those types of guys, but he's very solid, very fun to watch there. So the Buccaneers would definitely like to have him. David Ojabo, I talk about it every time. He's maybe the most interesting prospect in the draft. We're all going to be probably wrong on where we mock him. because it's just very tough to tell. I think we know where he fits. I like him a little better as a 3-4 outside linebacker, edge rusher, but I think he can fit 4-3-N. I don't have a problem with that. We know he fits as an edge rusher. Honestly, watching these edge rushers, there's so many good ones. Factoring in upside, Ojabo might be the best pure pass is keyword, pass rusher in this class. I mean, he doesn't even have that many reps playing, and he's already a very talented. He's got a nasty spin move. He's athletic. He just gets after the quarterback, And he's actually got upside there, which is crazy. The problem is he wasn't on the field on rundowns. He doesn't have a lot of run snaps, and the reason for that was he wasn't too good against it. I know he hasn't played that many snaps, so you can think he can get better, but some people may view him as a liability against the run. So where do you take that guy? Some teams may they may look at that pass rush ability and they're like top 10. They may do it. They may do it, and some teams may we don't want it. Where do we take a guy that's only going to be on the field? I mean, it's a passing league now, so very tough to figure out. And the Packers would love to have him. Maybe they move on from Preston Smith. Some talk about Zadarius Smith, but I definitely think he's going to be there next year, along with Rashawn Gary. But they love having a rotation. I think Ojabo being a rotation pass rusher, I think that makes sense there. So I really don't think you'd get by this point. Drake London, the Dolphins. Yeah, Drake London's an interesting one. I see a lot of people bumping him up, and that's not a guy I could see a team just being in love. It's a 6'5". He's listed as 6'5". He might be about 6'4". 6 big body receiver, extremely good contested catch. You kind of give him the ball in any way, even screen passes, quick slants, end arounds. It's very fun to watch. Rare guy like that. So some team just may want to take him real early. I guess I could see that, but I don't know if he's very talented. I just don't know if I'm really seeing it. Because, again, it goes to, he doesn't get the most separation. I think the teams are a little cautious about the guy, and he can get separation, but a lot of the plays where he was separated, it's off coverage, kind of gets a quick screen, a quick slant, and he's been a monster contested catch. I think people are kind of banking on him being a Mike Evans type receiver, which he could be. To me, right now, at this early stage, I think this is more of his range. I'm not ready to boost him up yet. I think teams would be a little cautious. I think they would rather have the separators, like the clear cut. These guys are going to get open for sure, 100%. They're going to get open. We're going to take those guys. That's kind of today's era. The Dolphins, though, would love to have him with Jalen Waddle. I think it's a good pairing. They complement each other pretty well there. So the Dolphins pair those guys together there, get help for Tua. Chiefs go Kingsley Enagbare from South Carolina, who I like a lot. I think he should go earlier in this. I like him as a 4-3-N. I really think he fits the Chiefs. I really think the Chiefs would be high on him. This feels like a Chiefs type of defensive end for me. So much upside. Loved his tape. Put on strength, just power this last year. It was really fun to watch. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL. He's one of these upside guys here. So really like him for the Chiefs. Kenyon Green potentially can go earlier in this. It's just tough fitting everyone in up there. I think it will be a day one. The Bengals would love to have him. I think it'd be a day one starting guard for them and help them out a lot. Lions, so another quarterback off the board, go Desmond Ridder, quarterback from Cincinnati. They got another pick coming up. They could debate receiver here, but having the quarterback, because first-round players get a fifth-year option, so having that with the quarterback is big time here. So that would be if they want to take a quarterback, that'd be the route they go. I really think Desmond Ridder would fit their system. Some play action. He has the athletic ability to that throw on the run ability, the arm strength. You got to get him outside of the box of being a one-read guy. Cincinnati ran a lot of one-read plays, so we really don't know if he can get outside that box. The Lions kind of got to assist him with that, but I like the fit with the Lions there. So Ridder at the end of the first round here, maybe help himself with the Senior Bowl. Let's rip through the second round. Sky Moore, who I really like, got the chance of watching him. Plays outside and inside, really good footwork, really good speed, really good hands, after the catch ability. Jags would love to have him there for Trevor Lawrence. And the Lions get their receiver, though, then Jahan Dotson, maybe built like a slot guy, but actually plays a little bit, not a little bit, more than a little bit more outside. Underrated contested catch ability, has the athleticism. Pair him and Amon St. Brown there. Jets go Travis Jones, like the perfect guy to fit to pair with Quinnen Williams. Can play nose tackle, can play D tackle, deadly defensive line. Then Giants go Christian Harris, who I think should be a first-round pick. Unique type linebacker. You can put him off the edge. You kind of can use him like a Micah Parsons type player. Won't be as good. but the Giants will like to use him on the inside and blitz him a bit with that new Martindale scheme. I had George Karlaftis to slip through a little bit. I'm liking some of these other pass rushers a little better because of their upside, more of the freaky traits, freaky upside ability. So Karlaftis slips through a little bit, but I think he would fit Lovie Smith's scheme there as a defensive end. Jets get the receiver and outside receiver David Bell to pair with their inside receiver Elijah Moore. Tyler Smith's been getting some buzz. Could he sneak into the first round? The Bears would like to plug and play him as a tackle, him and Tevin Jenkins, pairing those guys up. Matt Corral ends up slipping through. There's a possibility that Matt Corral could be the first quarterback off the board. This is why it's a pretty unpredictable draft. He's got that flashy ability. He can escape pressure. He can run. He's got some arm talent. Can make tight window throws. I think people will be a little worried about because that Lane Kiffin system, not too many teams running that in the NFL. We're more, implementing some, more college-style offenses, though. And then maybe his frame. We've seen him get beat up a little bit. He's currently injured, runs into contact sometimes. Can he hold up? That's kind of the big thing here. And a lot of the other guys helped their stock at the Senior Bowl. He did not get the chance to do that, obviously, because he was not there. See what he does at the Combine. That could help him out. But the Broncos, I think, would love to have him here at 40. Get a quarterback here at this point. I think that'd be great. I would love that for them. Boye Mafe, who's getting some buzz. I think he'd fit the Seahawks. Pair him with Darrell Taylor there. Athletic pass rusher that can get to the quarterback. Jalen Petre, safety from Baylor, who I think has an opportunity to go in the first round because he's extremely instinctive, can make a play on the ball. Just seems like he's got extremely good knowledge for the game for sure. So I think Washington pairing him with Cameron Curl. Breece Hall, who I think will be the first running back taken in the draft. Upside, we know he's a good runner. Upside catching the ball. Upside as a pass catcher, but the Falcons could benefit from this. The Browns, like I said, if they can just build up the interior of their defense, linebacker, defensive tackle, they could be an elite defense. I think Perion Winfrey adding some pass rush from the interior, deadly there. So I like that. Bernard Raymond, offense tackle from Central Michigan, goes to the Ravens. I think he fits for them, potentially at right tackle. The Vikings look like they're changing schemes up a little bit, maybe more of a 3-4 look, so get some pass rushers that have the ability to stand up and rush. I think the Penn State rusher Arnold Ebiketie could do that. Very athletic, has the traits, has some length, had a good showing at the Senior Bowl, of course, so I think that would be something they could use there. Colts could use a receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson, kind of that utility type guy, can do a bit of everything. Very good in the open field. Pair him with Michael Pittman. Quay Walker, Georgia linebacker. The Chargers could use some help at that linebacker position, kind of a do-it-all linebacker from the Georgia Bulldogs. A lot of guys going from that defense. Saints go Daxton Hill, safety from Michigan. I think you can mix it up with him a little bit on his role as a safety, but the Saints very well could Marcus Williams is a free agent. Very well could franchise tag him. Malcolm Jenkins, how much longer has he got? So they could be looking out here, adding Daxton Hill at the safety position there. Darian Kinnard, offensive line from Kentucky, goes to the Dolphins. Does he stick at tackle? Do you move him to guard? They can help the Dolphins out either way. George Pickens to the Eagles. The Eagles been in the past kind of been looking for that big body receiver. I think this is that guy that kind of is today's style big body receiver. So Eagles grab him. J. Marie Saller from Georgia, who played left tackle for Georgia, and he's solid there. He's solid. I do worry speed rushers maybe could beat him a little bit, but they would move him a bit. They would move him. It would actually take him and put him at right guard sometimes. Maybe that's more of his role in the NFL. I like the versatility. I like how they moved him around from like snap to snap, which was pretty crazy. They trust him a lot. You go back and you look at Andrew Thomas, and Andrew Thomas actually did a bit of that as well. But Andrew Thomas really, you got more of that tackle feel from him. Roger McCreary, the corner from Auburn, who had a really good tape, really good in man coverage, make a play on the ball. I know teams kind of worry about his length, which seems to be a big deal for coaches on corners. But the Raiders would love to have him here. Would like the upgrade there. Leo Chenal, linebacker from Wisconsin, was all over the place for Wisconsin. There's the Patriots upgrading at the linebacker position. Some free agents. Dante Hightower could upgrade the run stopping ability here. Cardinals get their man coverage corner, which they're trying to get. Want to go back to 2 years ago, running more man coverage. Darian Kendrick is that guy. Chad Muma, linebacker from Wyoming, very good in coverage. Could be that next Logan Wilson from Wyoming. Cowboys, Leighton Vander Esch, a free agent. They want to use Parsons maybe off the edge more often. They need the off-ball linebackers to do that. next group of teams here. Bills could use an interior defensive lineman. They got a couple free agents. Maybe they'll get him back. But Fedarian Mathis from Bama could be that guy on the inside paired with Ed Oliver. Falcons grab that pass rusher, Myjai Sanders. Starting to see how deep this edge rush group is. Very talented pass rusher. Cincinnati ran a lot of three-man fronts, and they really spread those guys out. I think that kind of creates a harder job for those defensive linemen. So maybe more upside playing in a Dean Pease scheme here with the Falcons, an NFL scheme. Packers maybe create an elite defense with this scenario because their defense really stepped up. Last year we get him Ajabo on the outside. Now Logan Hall, who I would like as a 3-4 end for them, just outside of Kenny Clark. When Kenny Clark's playing nose tackle because he could play D tackle as well. Just stacking up the defense. Logan Hall, I guess the question is what to do with them. I thought Houston played him out of position, which was interesting because him and Ed Oliver are completely different players. And Ed Oliver, remember, who's on the Bills, came from Houston. Completely different type of interior defensive lineman. Both came from Houston. Houston used both, I thought, out of position. Maybe not every snap, but they used them a bit out of position. Logan Hall, to me, is either going to be a 3-4 end or a 4-3-3 technique. Could be a 4-3 end. That's a possibility there. So some teams maybe hesitate to figure out what do we do with them. I like him at 3-4 end. Jaquan Brisker, safety from Penn State. The Buccaneers could use some more safety help. I really like the way Jordan Whitehead played this year. He's a free agent. Buccaneers got a load of free agents. Some they're going to have to let walk. Some they're going to get back. Key ones might let walk. So we'll see. But they could add the safety from Penn State here. Christian Watson, who's getting some buzz from North Dakota State. Get Trey Lance's guy there. Debo playing a little bit more of a running back role here and there, so it takes away from the receiver snaps. So you could use another receiver here. Why not add Lance's guy? Kenneth Walker, the running back from Michigan State for the Chiefs. I was starting to think, I could argue maybe a running back like Kyron Williams is a Chiefs fit because he's kind of a do-it-all guy. He can pass, protect, he can catch the ball. He's pretty damn quick. He's got that footwork. That kind of feels like a Chiefs guy. And it makes sense, but then I'm thinking of the Chiefs where they had success running the ball this year. It was a lot of power running, man blocking. You stick on your guy, you drive him north and south. North and south, it makes sense, same thing. So kind of get that bruiser back. That kind of makes some sense there. Kenneth Walker is a tough runner. Running back is the easiest position to judge when watching tape. No question. Easiest to judge, like if he's good or not. I'd say Walker's there's a little bit, not like a big mystery, not extremely tough, but there's a little bit of a mystery there because when you watch him, Michigan. Well, first off, he didn't have a lot of reps catching the ball, which teams don't love that. You want to see that, but is it because of Michigan State's offense? So that's a little bit of a question. Is it a matter of just getting him the ball more? That's the thing. And Michigan, watching that tape, I've never seen so many wide open outside lanes. It was wild. It was that blocking scheme outside. And it was weird because I think some of those runs weren't designed to be outside, and Walker would have the vision. He would see it's wide open out there, and he's gone. He's gone because he's actually, for a built guy, got some home run speed. But there was just so many wide open lanes where that was responsible for a lot of his production. Came from those, but when he had some really good inside runs where he's making guys miss, you see him moving left and right, running guys over. So there's some flashy moments there too. But there's a little bit of a what if it's a little different here. You got to catch the ball a little bit more. Can he do it? You think so? What if these outside lanes aren't going to be wide open? Can you stick to your traditional NFL style running? You'd like to think he can do it. So but there's a little bit of a mystery there, I guess. Trey McBride for the Bengals. They could get Uzomah back, but they could use another one at the same time. McBride's pretty evenly good blocking and catching the ball too. So I think this only just adds to the weapon to the Bengals, making them that creating mismatch problems and just making that much more dangerous. As long as we haven't taken care of offensive line in the first round, but free agency mainly. That's what I'm looking for first. If they can knock free agency out of the park at offensive lineman, man, you can go to town with these playmakers here in the draft, and they've been drafting well. The Broncos get Kaiir Elam, cornerback from Florida. I think it's an upside guy. When I watched him as a freshman, I'm like, this is a future maybe top 10 pick. I don't love his tape. I don't love his tape. He's let me down a little bit, but he looks the part for sure, and he has good moments too. Big body kid, lengthy, pretty athletic, can attack the ball. Just gets out of place sometimes, kind of gets turned around. But you just got to work with them. You got to work with them. You got a lot of upside there. So the Broncos pair him with Patrick Surtain because they got some free agents. It would make sense to me. So we got through the 2 rounds here for my updated mock draft pre-combine. About to say Senior Bowl. We're past the Senior Bowl. So a lot of guys rising up. I haven't watched not even nearly everyone yet, but I love this time of year. I mean, just getting through some film and just feeling good about a guy and, moving him up because you see how talented he is. So, can't wait to keep going through this process. A lot of draft content. It's kind of more free agency time of the year, though, even though we have combine content, but for a lot of free agency content already up, more going to be rolling out. So join us for that. Like, subscribe to notifications on. Make sure you follow our Twitter. There's a link down below for that. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.